Thank you, Kanaya. So thank you for the introduction. So good morning, all. As Kanaya said, thank you all for joining on a Saturday morning. It is lovely to see you all. So let me start, before we get into the PPT, let me start with a very small story for 1 minute. Okay. So there used to be a very popular painter called Picasso. Okay. So he was actually a Spanish and he spent a lot of his time in France. So one day he was doing his usual work of painting in one of the popular streets of France in Paris. That's called Champs-Élysées. So there was a lady who was passing by and she identified Picasso. She said she went to him and requested him if he could draw a portrait of her, a picture of her. Okay. So he accepted. He and then took about 30 minutes. He drew a very beautiful picture, which was like exactly the same as her face. He drew a very good picture, and then he gave it to her. So she was very happy. She was very satisfied. She was so impressed. And she said, "How could you do this in half an hour? So how much should I pay you?" He said, "Please pay me some 5,000 francs." Okay. Francs used to be those days currency of France. Forget all that. She said, "Why you just took half an hour to draw this and you are charging me so much?" So he said, "Yeah, I took only half an hour to draw this, but I took an entire lifetime to understand how to draw this in half an hour." Right? So when you're financial planners, asset allocation is very unique to all. So you should understand how each person's pays, what is the features, like what you have in drawing. Asset allocation, you will have to understand each person's risk profile, each person's appetite for risk, their objectives, their net worth, and all that. So with that, we begin because asset allocation is one of the key fundamentals. That's the basic building block of successful wealth management. So if you're aspiring to be a financial advisor, the best way to master that is to understand asset allocation to its best. So then you can also go on to become a Picasso on your own, of your own in wealth management space. Right? So we share the screen now. Okay. Right. I hope all of you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what is asset allocation? Because we talk, there is a lot of articles about asset allocation. Every day you see in Economic Times, Money Control, all the leading business financial papers that they talk about asset allocation. So let's try to keep it simple. So someone has 10 lakhs, all right? So he wants to invest that 10 lakhs into the market, right? The stock market or financial. Here he wants to make investments out of the 10 lakhs. Now, how should he split or how should he allocate this 10 lakhs is basically in its simplest form. That is what is asset allocation. So if we have to simply understand, so someone has 10 lakhs, he wants to put some money in gold, someone he wants to put some money in stocks, someone wants to put in mutual funds, someone wants to put in some bonds. So like that, when you split the money available with you, that in its very simplest form is called asset allocation, right? So the way you split your money or way you allocate or build your portfolio is always a function of how old are you, which means your age, are you closer to retirement or you've just begun to work, or if you're talking for your client, like what is his or her age, how close are they to the retirement, are they working professionals who are in mid 30s. So it's a function of that, and it's a function of their current debts, like home loan, vehicle loan, personal loan, gold loan. All of that is have to be taken into consideration. And what are their goals? This is the most important thing, because a lot of us confuse about our goals. We just say, we want to live happily ever after. Now, what is happily ever after? So you have to understand and define that I want to have 1 lakh rupees on my post retirement. I want to live in my same home, which is loan free. I want to have completed the marriage and education of my kids. And I want to travel the world with my wife on occasional trips and take care of my medical needs. Now, this is a very well defined goal. So a lot of us, we miss defining what is our goal, right? Or how clearly we have to define our goal is being missed. So asset allocation, the way you do asset allocation is also a function of your goals. like the amount of time available for your goals, and how what is the size of your goal, because you have to define the size of your goal in terms of I need 20 lakhs for this, I need 50 lakhs for this, I need 40 lakhs for that. Like that, you have to define the time. See, I need 40 lakhs for the higher education of my son in the next 12 years. Now that is a goal. It is a well-defined goal. It has the time, it has the size of money that is required, and it also gives the indication of the purpose so that you can kind of tweak around it. It obviously also depends upon your net worth and your risk profile. Now, this risk profile is a word we hear very often about people, because as wealth advisors, if you're aspiring to be a wealth advisor, or if you're already a wealth advisor, or if you're a mutual fund distributor, or if you are an independent consultant, whatever it is, understanding the risk profile of your client is the most important thing. That's the basic building premise of successful wealth advisory, right? So you need to understand what is the risk profile, what actually risk profile means, because you have a lot of questionnaires which you, when you open the internet, go to Google, put risk profile questionnaires, you get about thousands of results for that. You get a lot of risk profile questionnaires, but you have to try to simplify that. You have to work your way in terms of understanding the risk profile. The biggest advantage of personal finance, my friends, is personal finance is unique for everyone. Every one of us in this call can also be an investor, which means we can also be a client, and we can also be an advisor, because my goals are unique to me, your goals are unique to you, Kanya's goal or Krishan's goal or someone else's goal is unique to them, and their risk profile is unique to them. So the amount of opportunity which is available for personal finance as a career or as a profession is humongous. You can be working for a firm, or because personal finance is really personal. And just imagine our country's penetration into the stock markets or investing world is only 5%. Even at 5%, we have become so big. So just imagine when our market grows to a penetration of 20% or 30%, even as of today or as of the last month, the AUM, which is the asset under management in the mutual fund industry, is about 63 or 64 lakh crores. And this is with only 5% of Indians investing. Just imagine if 20% of Indians are investing, what it would be. In developed economies like US, it is in 50% excess, the amount of people who are investing. What is 50%? Out of 100 people, 50 people or more are investing in US. What is 5%? Out of 100 people, only 5 people are investing in India. So if there is a huge potential for growth, and which means there is a huge potential for wealth management and wealth advisory. And asset allocation, risk profile, these are the stuffs that you have to understand in terms of to be going to be a very successful professional in this field, right? So what is an optimal portfolio by risk allocation? We have to take the right amount of risk, because investing is not risk free, right? So we have to take the right amount of risk to deliver the highest possible returns within that risk. Now, how successfully we are able to build this, how successfully we are able to carve a strategy for this from client to client will define the success of your profession. All right. So let's now asset allocation steps. These are very, very simple steps. A lot of us confuse this. First, you have to choose what are the asset classes that I have to invest. Now, what are the different asset classes? We'll see in the next slide, like cash, gold, bonds, equities, real estate, and stuffs. So first, you have to choose as per your risk profile or the risk profile of your client. In understanding the risk profile of your client, speak to them, engage with them, understand what is their risk profile, and then you have to choose the different asset classes. It can be gold, it can be real estate, it can be equities, it can be liquid funds or cash, it can be some bonds. So first you have to choose. First, don't confuse anything. You just need to choose the different asset classes for you to be investing for your own self or for your clients. All right. And next is you have to decide the percentage of each class. Now, let's say you have chosen some 4 asset classes. Let's say gold, real estate, equities, which is stocks, and then let's say you have chosen some liquid funds, which is to keep for some emergency purposes or emergency fund, right? Now, this is the first step which you did. Now, the second step is how much should be the percentage each of these asset classes. Now, you want to build an emergency fund for 6 months of the expenses of your client. Let's say their monthly expense is around like 50,000 rupees. So you'll have to tell your client that they need to have 3 lakh rupees in an emergency fund in liquid form at any point of time. So that if something happens, some kind of medical emergency happens, or something happens wherein by which the continuity of employment is becoming a challenge or whatever purposes, you always need to have emergency fund. You cannot be hand to mouth. The importance of emergency fund is always underestimated. So we need to, stress on the importance of emergency fund to our clients. So after we have chosen the asset classes to invest, we have to choose the percentage. Now, out of the total percentage, the liquid class or the liquid asset could be for like 5% or 10% maximum out of the entire thing. So now let's say if someone has 10 lakh rupees to invest, you can put aside say 1 lakh rupees or maximum 75,000 to 1 lakh or 15,000 rupees. This is apart from emergency fund. Emergency fund, they have to create because when they are bringing 10 lakhs to invest, you already presume or assume or you can confirm with them that they have the emergency fund ready with them. If they don't have, from this 10 lakhs, you have to remove that first. That is non-negotiable because all of us need emergency funds because we never know what is going to be the emergency that is going to come up, right? So asset allocation begins ideally after you have set aside the emergency fund. Now, after you have set aside the emergency fund, you can have out of 10 lakh rupees, you can have some maximum of 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees in liquid funds, okay, which are like easily redeemable. There is no risk. Obviously there will not be much of returns also. And let's say you can put aside another 20% or 25%, let's say in gold, which means 2.5 lakhs in gold. Now, gold also, it is changing in the ways you can invest. So let's talk about it in our next slide. But for now, let's assume that you are advising the client to put some 25% into gold as an asset class, right? So then equities about like 50% or so. So you have 50 plus 25 plus 10. So 85%, 50% in equities, it can be mutual fund. It again, within the mutual fund, you can choose the different schemes according to the risk profile and age of the client. So this and last 15 or 20%, you can ask the client to invest into some bonds or even debt-based mutual funds, which again buys bonds of big companies and leading companies and stocks. Okay, this is how the second step of asset allocation is getting fixed, wherein by which you are splitting the total available money into the different percentage of money into each of the asset classes, like 10% maximum into liquid, 25% say into gold, 50% say into equities, and then say the last 15 or 20% say into bonds. Now, the beauty of this profession is what is this percentage for each of your client is different, which is why big companies cannot just take away your business if you have set it up. As long as you understand your client, as long as you have set up 20 or 30 clients who trust you to hand over the process of asset allocation, then you are set for your entire life. You can obviously work for big companies or companies that are also into wealth management and wealth advisory services. But the thing is, here, the biggest advantage of this profession is there is no one size fits for all. Because each of us, which is why even if it is a Picasso, he cannot just draw one painting for every human being on this earth. He has to have different strokes, he has to have different techniques to bring about the facial features of each person that is sitting in front of him. It is the same for personal finance. It is the same for asset allocation. You have to have different strokes, different percentage of allocation, and different asset classes for each of your clients, which is why it doesn't work like a supercomputer that I enter some fields and then it prints out what is asset allocation for the entire universe. It's not possible. This is the biggest advantage of personal finance and wealth management and wealth advisory services. Now, it can be true for your own self, or it can be true if you're doing this as a profession advising clients. All right. And do not confuse diversification and asset allocation. You know what is the problem? Now, let's say 50% is being chosen for equities as an asset class. Okay. Now, the person wants to invest in mutual funds. Okay. Equity based mutual funds. There are a lot of mutual funds like flexi cap, large cap, small cap, mid cap, dynamic asset allocation, balanced advantage fund, index based fund, smart beta funds. You know, the total number of mutual fund companies in India is about 40 to 50 mutual fund companies, like your Kotak, HDFC, Parag Parikh, Nippon, Quant Mutual Fund, Bandhan Mutual Fund. There are about 40 to 50 mutual fund companies in India. All right. And each of them will have a minimum, I'm saying very minimum of 50 fund categories with them, right? 50 fund categories, or even let's say they have only like 25 fund categories. Okay. Even if they have each of like HDFC will have 25 funds, Kotak will have 25 funds, your ICICI will have 25 funds, SBI will have 25 funds. Now, if you go by this calculation, you have a total of 1,000 funds to choose from. People get confused. So what happens is they say, okay, I want to invest 50% in equities, and they just invest in about like 10 or 20 different mutual funds, and they confuse that this is what is actually asset allocation. Actually, what they are doing is diversification, but they are confusing this with asset allocation. Now, within that asset class of 50% which you have allocated, you can choose maximum 3 or 4 funds. That is enough. One for each category: large cap, then mid cap, then small cap, then let's say flexi cap. You can finish with 4, but people confuse. They take it to 10 or 15 different funds. They do not know how to control that. They do not know how to evaluate the performance, and they think that this is what is asset allocation. While they're actually doing diversification, they think that it is asset allocation. Here is where professionals like us come into play and kind of educate them in terms of what is asset allocation and what is diversification. There is a difference between the two. Okay. So now we go on to see the different asset classes that we talked about: cash, gold, bonds, with the amount of risk and like the rewards. Now, one small point which I would like to make here, friends. Just think, before 5 or 10 years, in an Indian context, gold is never considered, or gold was never considered as an investment class. People don't sell gold. Gold selling is not allowed in any household in India. They will buy it as ornaments. They will keep it for life. They will even put it in a locker. They might not even, in a very, very worst case scenario, they will use that to raise some gold loans, but they will not sell it. They will pay some unreasonable interest, but they don't sell. And gold gets passed on generation to generation. What our grandmother was wearing, our mother was wearing, then our sister or our wife is wearing, and then our daughter is wearing, the daughter's daughter is wearing. Likewise, the gold keeps going on to the different generations. But today, you have sovereign gold bond, you have exchange traded fund, you have gold based mutual funds, where people invest digital gold, where people invest in gold as an asset class. They don't even touch the gold, they don't even feel the gold. It is all virtual. Now, if someone buys a sovereign gold bond, they don't even get to get the gold in hand, but they have the investment. They have a confirmation certificate, like they own 10 grams or 20 grams or 30 grams. This is one big change, my dear friends. This shows like how our market is evolving, how our investors are becoming matured, in what way the scope of wealth management and wealth advisory is growing in this country. You can see from these kind of indications, like how gold is evolving as an asset class. Now, another example is in real estate. People used to always think that I will buy real estate which is safest, although the rental yield is only 2 to 3% in major cities in India, 2 to 3% per annum. After all the expenses, they people still buy real estate for psychological reasons. But today, people invest in a product called real estate investment trust, where even if you have 5 lakh rupees, you can go and invest into the trust. It's like buying some into a mutual fund. So you go and invest that into a trust, and that trust holds some properties in Bandra Kurla complex in Bombay or Golf Course Road in Gurugram and other major addresses across India. Now that properties could be 250 crore, 500 crores, and we are getting one small percentage of that depending upon our size of investment. If you invest 1 lakh, you will get some 0.0001 percentage, and you will also get the rental of that property at that 0.001 percentage. And the property, if it appreciates in value, your value of investment will also go up. So these two are, according to me, the biggest changes in investors' mindset. People previously will not buy or put money in real estate which they cannot see, which they cannot feel, and they will not invest money in gold which they cannot see, which they cannot feel. But today they are investing. They are pouring in a lot of money into gold. Just Google and check what is the amount of growth that you have seen in gold-based mutual funds and gold-based exchange-traded funds, which is ETFs, and what is the level of subscription which is happening in sovereign gold bond, which is issued by the Reserve Bank of India for an 8-year period. There is so much of rush in buying into sovereign gold bonds. Now this shows how the market is evolving. So these are the different asset classes. Then your traditional bonds and fixed income securities is like your debt-based mutual fund and stuff. They all still remain the same. But there is a lot of products which is coming into the market. As I said, there is a minimum of 1,500 or 1,000 to 1,500 or even in excess of 2,000 total funds with different categories, because all of this has fund categories which are launched by mutual fund. For cash, there are liquid funds. For gold, there are gold-based mutual funds. There is multi-asset fund like from companies like ICICI. For bonds, there are mutual funds like ICICI All Seasons Bond Fund and stuffs like that. And then Bandhan, there are a lot of fixed income securities bonds. For equities, obviously, you have a lot of mutual funds like Parakvari, Nippon Large Cap, Nippon Small Cap, ICICI Flexi Cap, ICICI Small Cap, and real estate also. You have real estate mutual fund companies and real estate exchange traded funds. All of this has. So now the client has too many choices in front of him or her. Now it is the duty of the wealth advisor to check and advise, like, what is the right product to choose. And since it is very unique for everyone, my friends, which is why it makes this profession a very compelling and an encouraging profession for someone to take up at this point in time. Because they say in English, being at the right place at the right time. So if you are in India now looking for a career or looking for expanding your investments as an investor or a professional who wants to be in wealth advisory space, this is the right time. Because I read an article yesterday where they say the amount of population which are in 30 plus years of age that are entering into the workforce is one of the highest. I think it is the highest in the world when it comes to India. So the next 15 or 20 years of growth is going to be tremendous, huge. Now economy is about like $4 trillion or so. Like just imagine if it goes to $10 trillion or whatever. Just imagine if 5% of penetration goes to 20%. Imagine the amount of money that is going to come into the market, which means it is going to increase the scope of people who are advising for that investments, which are the wealth advisors, which is what we all are, planning to become, right? So there are different kind of risks in terms of when someone chooses to invest, they have different kinds of risk, which is like systematic risk. Like when you go in a plane or when you go in, let's take the example of when you travel in a flight. So they say that, okay, you have to take precautions like wearing a seat belt. And if there is an emergency, you have to understand how to open the door or how to use the airbag, how to use the oxygen and all that, right? So you understand that when you travel in a plane, there is always a chance that something could happen. When you travel in a train also, you understand that something could happen. Even when you're crossing the road, you understand that something could happen, which is not in your control, right? So likewise, systematic risk is something when you invest in market, everyone becomes conscious of this risk. They understand that such a risk exists. Now, when COVID happened in 2020, could anyone even guess what was COVID? We did not even know what was COVID, right? So likewise, and it affected the entire market. This systematic risk is something which cannot be avoided. So when we are talking about asset allocation, whatever asset allocation we have to do, we have to remember that it is not risk proof from systematic risk, because systematic risk affects everyone in the market, all sizes, and most of the asset classes get affected. Unsystematic risk is pertaining to a particular industry. Let's say, you had this example of Paytm when Reserve Bank said like they're not doing the KYC properly, so they will have a pause or hold on onboarding new customers, etc. Right? So the market was doing well in general, but Paytm individually as a company was not doing so well. And Paytm is a great company; it's a great story, and they were the pioneers in terms of bringing the digital money wallet into this market. But still, they suffered because of the risk, which was very localized to that company. Now, this can be reduced or avoided to a larger extent by proper diversification. In terms of I invest into this company to this much, into that company into that much. I will not put all my eggs in one basket. I will not invest everything into a single asset class, or even within the asset class, I will not invest in just one fund. I will diversify in a way that just because of one failure, my portfolio is not going to be affected. Okay, so that is unsystematic risk, which you can reduce, which is the risk of one particular sector or one particular business or one particular company, right? So volatility of asset classes, it's like, how volatile when the market swings, like how these asset classes swing. There are a lot of measures like standard deviation, Sharpe ratio, Turner ratio, beta, and all that, which are a little technical at the surface, but it is very easy. You just need to see whether it is like whether your fund is like Virat Kohli or Surya Kumar Yadav. If it is Virat Kohli, it is a stable fund. You can rely on it. Yes, there will be some underperformance for some period, but at an overall basis, you can be reasonably sure that it is not going to be very volatile between high and low. Now, when it is Surya Kumar Yadav, there could be days where the fund is performing stupendous. Like everywhere, it is going around in sixes and fours. And there could be days when it is zero also. So now you have to understand the volatility of every asset class and every fund that you are investing to understand or differentiate whether you want the Virat Kohli types or you want the Surya Kumar types. Both are great players, both are good players, both have good averages, both have proven track record in international scenario. One is a very dependable and in terms of the consistency, and one is, although a good player, the dependency or consistency is relatively lower. When you compare to Virat, his consistency or dependency is relatively lower. Likewise, you can measure the volatility. What is volatility is how much the fund swings between its best performance and its worst performance. All right. Now, benchmark comparison is these days when you go to the AMFI website, which is Association of Mutual Funds in India, each mutual fund that gets launched, my dear friends, are always benchmarked with one particular index. Large cap fund, if someone is launching, it has to get benchmarked to a large cap index. Small cap fund, it is benchmarked to a small cap index. Likewise, flexi cap, benchmarked to a particular index. How is my fund performing with regards to that benchmark? You can compare. That is also an indication in terms of what you have to keep and what you have to sell as a part of your asset allocation exercise. Okay. Now, this is a beautiful graph. I'll just take 1 minute. So building an efficient portfolio for your client is standard deviation is the risk that you are taking, which is in this axis, and the returns is in this axis. So this axis indicates the returns that you are going to get. This indicates the risk you are going to take. Now, this is what is an efficient portfolio along this line, where for one given amount of risk, you are delivering the maximum returns. And again, the efficient portfolio is just not one universal portfolio. Your efficient portfolio might not be efficient for me, and my efficient portfolio might not be efficient for someone else. So the beauty of personal finance is you have an opportunity to make efficient portfolios for each one of the investors, which makes your profession a very attractive one. It is not one size fits all, my dear friends. You have to make efficient portfolio which are different for different customers depending upon their risk profile. All right. which is where the efficient portfolio is just not one. Even in this diagram or this graph, if you see, there are a couple of efficient portfolios. Now, what is an inefficient portfolio? That you take risk which is beyond necessity, okay, and you are getting very low returns. So you have to analyze for each of your client that whether the funds you have invested first, whether it is in line with their risk profile and whether you are getting the maximum returns for the amount of risk that you are taking. Okay. And beyond a point, if you see whatever amount of risk that you take here, if you see this point, beyond this point, whatever amount of risk you take, you are not going to get more returns. So people get confused that I will just keep taking more and more and more risk. I will keep more and more and more returns. That is not possible. So as an advisor, even for your own self or for your clients, you have to say that there is a maximum amount of risk that you can take as per your profile, for which you have to earn a maximum amount of returns. Okay. So this is what is an efficient frontier and optimal portfolio, which as a wealth advisor, the moment you are able to build a portfolio in line with this in terms of efficiency, then I'm assuring you that you have your life set. You can be working for someone, you can be on your own. It doesn't make any difference as long as you understand the risk profile of your client and if you're able to build a portfolio, which is an optimal portfolio. It takes time, but if you kind of master it over a period of 3 years or 5 years, then you're set for life, right? So risk profile of the client is like you have to understand like what stage of life they are in, whether they are just begun to work or they are closer to retirement, because your clients can be anyone. It could be a 30-year-old person who wants to plan for his or her retirement, who wants to plan for some education goals of their kids and marriage goals, or it can be a person who wants to plan for his retirement life and he's already 55 and he's just come to you to understand how to do asset allocation and what are his goals in terms of having his peaceful retirement life. Your client can be anyone, which is again, that's the beauty of this profession. Your client is crores. There are 140 crore Indians and there is only 5% that are investing. So even at 10%, it is 14 crore people. At 20%, it is like 28 crore people or something, even a little bit more, because your population is always a dynamic number, right? So there is a huge scope. So even the existing banks or wealth management companies, are they catering, are they covering to every single investor who is present in this country? The answer is a simple no. So it is like up to us in terms of how do we tap that opportunities. It is a slow start. You take years to build your platform, your brand image. People have to trust you because it's about money matters. But once you're able to cross that, which is why you need some kind of certifications, some kind of endorsement that you are the right person to do. How do I trust? I have to talk about money to you. And money in Indian context, it's a very personal affair. People don't open up about money so easily. So how do they open up? They have to trust you. How do they trust you? One, due to your experience in terms of the number of years that you have been doing this, and then with some certifications which you have, which will enable you, which will kind of make you a better person to do the different steps that are required from wealth management, right? So age, net worth, current debts, as I said, what is the interest rate of the loan, whether it is a personal loan where the person is paying very high interest rate, how many years of loan is pending, whether 3 years is pending or 4 years or 10 years is pending, age to retirement, business stability in case of self-employed. There could be a person who is self-employed who runs his or her own business. They could be consult. They also might want advice. So like when you go to the LinkedIn pages for like this special services, I see a lot of requests even from college students. They say we want some advice, that personal finance advice from an expert into how to begin or how to enter into the investing world, investing market, right? So it is age to retirement is just one of the factors. There could be multiple factors because your clients are so many, okay? And business owners can also be one of them, right? And the psychological aspect of risk. See, some people, they might have a lot of money. They might have no dependency on the investment. They might just want to invest and keep it for like 7 years, 10 years, 15 years or so. But still, they don't like the fund to be very, very volatile. They have a very psychological aspect to risk. So as a advisor, you need to address that. Now, this is the beauty of this profession, that there is a person who with 50 crore or 5 crores also will be slightly risk aversive, or like he or she might not want to take so much of risk. But there might be a client who with 1 crore wants to take slightly more risk than the other person. Now, you all will know Zerodha, right? Zerodha is a very popular platform, and Nikhil Kamath is one of the co-founders. So I was reading an article before a couple of months on his asset portfolio, asset allocation. Okay. Now he has a platform where a lot of people come and do F&O, futures and options, right? And this person, he has about 55% of his assets in fixed income securities and bonds. His allocation to assets or stocks or equities is less. It is only 45%, or even it is at 40%, or it is lesser than his allocation to fixed income securities. Why? Because he wants to consolidate, because he might have some 3,000 crore or 4,000 crores to invest. So he might want to protect at least 2,000 crores of that from any kind of fluctuation. So he is going to the fixed income securities. So having more money or having a lot of money doesn't mean taking more risk. Though it is actually the opposite when it comes to the investing world. People have different assets. Personally, if I have to talk about myself, I also have an asset allocation which is 50% into PPF and debt-based mutual funds, and the other 50% into equities. Because I'm 45, I have taken risk which I have had to take in investing world, but I would like to consolidate from now on, because the portfolio is also at a reasonable size, as they said in the beginning. Like, I have done 3x in almost like last 8-9 years or so. So my portfolio size is also reasonable. So I'd like to protect the portfolio from market fluctuations, which is why I do 50% into PPF and debt mutual funds. All right. So the psychological aspect of risk, my friends, is very important, which if you understand that well, then you can go on to become a very, very successful wealth advisor, right? Investment risk, pure risk is like for your life, for your medical, or your accident cover and stuff like that. That is your pure risk, which you cannot kind of eliminate, but you kind of take a protection for it through your insurance products. Okay, so that is what is the pure risk, which is very, very essential. Because what is the point that you are trying to build a portfolio for someone, which if it might get affected because of one incident? Let's say, God willing, nothing should happen to anyone, but let's say if something happens in form of a small injury or a small accident, which can lead to some bigger things. Now, if that person is not having insurance, if there is no cover, a proper cover, then you are going to spend money from the portfolio which you have built for so many years, taking so much of efforts. So you should not allow that. When I say you should not allow that, you should advise and stress the importance of a proper insurance cover to your clients. Now, insurance again doesn't mean selling any random product. No, don't mix wealth and insurance, my friends. It's like, if you don't mix wealth and insurance, you will be respected by your clients. Talk about term insurance, talk about medical insurance, talk about insurance which doesn't have anything related to wealth. That's how you earn respect of your clients. Okay. So investment risk is obviously we do this diversification, then closer to target date. Now, let's say someone is like 35. He is doing something for his retirement. Okay. So he has, let's say, 25 years to retirement. Now, 20 years after he begins, let's say at about 55, he has about 5 years to his retirement. He cannot then be still investing into that equity asset class. He has to change that to a safer fund. That is again part of asset allocation, where your age changes. Even for the same person, see the beauty. For me, at my age of 30, my asset allocation was different. At age of 40, my asset allocation was different. At age of 45, my asset allocation is different. At the age of 50, my asset allocation is going to be different. At the age of 60 again, my asset allocation is going to be different. This is what is incremental business you are going to have from a single client. Because through the different life stages of a single client, the wealth advisor has different challenges or different opportunities to do well with that single client. With one single client, you have 3 or 4 stages where the profile, the risk appetite, and the asset allocation is going to be changing for a single client, same client. Just imagine one client, you will have 4 different roles over different points in time. So if you have like 10 clients, so it is like 40 different stages. So this is the beauty of personal finance, that for a same person, the objectives and the risk-taking ability is going to change with regards to time, right? So this is again the beauty of your personal finance. So pure risk is like you can cover it by health and term, and advisable not to mix insurance with wealth creation. People could still choose products which they want, which might, suit their objectives and stuff. So nothing in when it comes to investing, there is nothing absolute. There is nothing called right or wrong. This I'm saying advisable not to mix. I'm never saying that please strictly don't mix. There is nothing like strict in the world of investing. When it comes to personal finance, there is no strict rule. It is always advisable. It is always recommended. It is always favorable or a desirable situation. And asset rebalancing, as I said, when you're closer to a target date, you do asset rebalancing and asset allocation and diversification, as we saw. These are the strategies by which you manage an investment risk. Someone wants to retire at 60. He's been saving for that from the age of 35. He's investing into equity-based mutual fund. So when he reaches 55, he has to do asset rebalancing and do that from a equity-based fund into a debt-based fund. This is called asset rebalance. Now, choosing those different funds to invest or different asset classes to invest, that is called asset allocation. And within one asset, what are the different products to choose into invest? That is called diversification. Because there are totally about like 1,500 plus products just from our mutual funds. So we have to be clear to able to either be invest on your own for your own self or for your clients. You should be on the top of your game, right? Now, to do all this in terms of being a successful wealth advisor and stuff. Now, if I'm able to, let me give you a small narrative or a small perspective on what has been my background. I was an engineer. I'm an engineer, a qualified engineer. So I graduated. I'm now 45. So I graduated almost 25 years back. Okay. And I used to work for a IT hardware distribution company. So as Kanaya was saying in the beginning, it was headquartered in Dubai. And I used to work in different countries in Europe, US, Far East, in Singapore, Turkey there, and China, Hong Kong, and all. Like we had branches, we had business partners, we had distributors, we had resellers. So we had small offices in some countries, large offices in some countries. So, at 36, I decided that I want to pursue my passion for personal finance, but I had been investing already. So I wanted to get into investments and a little bit of advisory for a very, very closed group of people that I know. Okay. So, and in 2023, I chose to do CFP. After I had been already in the market for 8 years or 9 years, I wanted to expand my knowledge. I wanted to expand my horizon. So the first thing that came to my mind was to do CFP. Why CFP? Because I'm already investing. I'm not even looking for anything in specific for a movement in my professional ladder or something. I still did CFP because it is very, very critical and important for each of us to do constant upskilling. Can be employed, you can be on your own, you can be doing whatever that you are doing. It still doesn't mean that you can stop learning. Upskilling is essential for all of us. You can be 20 years old, you can be 30 years old, you can be even 50, because the age at which I did CFP, and CFP has 4 levels for regular pathway guys like me, because I am not a BFSI person. I am not having any masters in finance, or I have not worked in any banking or financial sectors, which can enable you to go straight away to the 4th level, which we will see. But I did all my 4 levels in within 7 months. And I was one of the top 5 students who had passed out in that year for CFP across India, because I had the passion and I understood the importance of what CFP can bring to the table. Okay, so CFP, as this slide says, it is one of the topmost programs. It is recognized in across about like 27 different territories or countries, and it is got the different unique 4-in-1 certification. Is like it is talking about risk, it is talking about your retirement, it is talking about your tax planning, it is talking about your investment strategy, it is talking about your estate planning, which is how you give your money to the next generation. It compasses all the different skills that are required for a wealth advisor. It has all of it. And it is specializing in personal finance and wealth focused curriculum, because many of these things which I'm talking about today in terms of systematic risk or volatility, or in terms of how are you going to choose your asset classes, or the graph of what is an optimal portfolio, I learned all that in CA. As a student, I learned that. I could be 45, but I still put myself as a student. That is how you learn. You cannot just say that, okay, I know everything in life. That's not the way you can grow. So at whatever you be the age, you have to put yourself as a student. So this curriculum of CFP is designed to be focusing on personal finance. Okay, and it is short-term and online study system. I cleared it in all the 4 levels. I cleared it in 7 months at first attempt. That also the last level took a little longer, because see, the board FPSB has that final level exam only once in 2 months. If they had it once in every month, I could have cleared it even lesser time, right? So that's only for the last level, but the other 3 levels you have monthly exams. Okay, so it takes short amount of time, but still it gives you a wide knowledge and perspective in terms of the different aspects of wealth finance, and it is being recognized in different countries across the world. So what is the eligibility? Obviously, to join the program, you just have to be a 10th or +2 passed and minimum of 18 years of age, and no restrictions or streams, like you don't have to have a 60% plus or something like that. There's no eligibility criteria for you to join. But after you finish all the 4 levels, to be certified, you have to be a graduate and you have to have either 3 years of work experience in this banking and financial services, or you can do 1 year of articleship, like 1 year of supervised articleship, like under CFPs like me. I can train. I also mentor a lot of CFPs. Like I can give articleship for someone who is under me. If he or she is working under me for 1 year, that certificate is enough for them to go and claim the final certification, because your scores are valid for 5 years. And within that 5 years, either you have to do 1 year of internship, or you can have 3 years of work experience to get the certificate. And that's not a very complicated process. It is very, very user friendly. They will keep updating you in terms of how to get it. And they are also very, very flexible in terms of issuing that certificate, as long as you have cleared the exam, and as long as you are able to demonstrate that you are going to be very responsible with the way you do your work. Because why are they taking this very seriously? Because you are going to get into a profession where you are going to advise people or recommend people for their money. It's their hard-earned money. So you have to be a very responsible person. It is just not that you have completed the exam, you can be just certified, and no, it is not like that. There are regulations, there are code of ethics, it is not very tough, but it creates that sense of responsibility in you to be a very responsible professional. That's the idea of this. Okay. The level 1 has, as I said, it has 4 levels for people who are from non-financial background. Like in my case, I did all of these 4 levels. The first level has your investment planning, the time value of money, what is present value, future value, the effect of compounding and all that. Second level is about retirement planning and tax. Tax planning also, you get a very detailed module on tax planning in terms of Indian taxes, like house income, property, personal income tax rules, section 80C, 80D, health insurance, insurance benefits, all of that comes into this second level. And third level is risk, which talks about your insurance needs. How should you insure? How much should you insure for? And then estate planning, which is giving the wealth to the next generation. The final level is nothing but a revision of all the same previous three categories or previous three levels, the subjects that were covered or the topics that were covered, that will be dealt in the fourth level. And you're also expected to submit a project, case study. They will give you a case study. We have to submit a financial plan for that case study. And you also have to clear an exam. So level 4 has two components. One is the project study and one is the exam, right? So I did all of this, which is in this slide, in about like 7 months, all of it in first attempt. So it is pretty much doable, even if you are not a commerce graduate. I am a perfect example for that, right? So these are, the program curriculum where it is about rules of conduct in terms of keeping the ethical behavior, keeping the client first, financial planning practice standards in terms of setting. Because when you are a CFP going into the market, you are just not one individual. You are carrying the badge of CFP. So that is like a brand. It is a brand on its own. If you say that you are a CFP, it is like a brand. It is in US, it is even more, because actually this board, financial planning standards board, is based out of Denver in US. So it is actually a certification which is being designed by them. FPSB India is a fully owned subsidiary of FPSB USA. So this is a certification program which is coming, originating from the US, and it has got tremendous amount of scope in terms of what it can do to people. Okay, and it also has about the professional responsibility and critical thinking and the different soft skill aspects. Also, they teach you in terms of how to talk to client and how to understand clients and psychological aspects of your clients and stuff. Okay, why ICOFP? I think I'm one of the best persons to talk about it because I was a student of ICOFP myself. They are the oldest in terms of doing this for 20 plus years. They have different, methodologies in terms of online curriculum. You will have mock tests. You will have recordings of classes in the Zoom classes which you are taken. You have e-learning also. You have mock tests. You have mentorship program when you do your level 1, where there will be a mentor who will be assigned to you, to whom you can always talk to one-to-one personally to understand the challenges, understand the different strategies, how to clear the exam, and what should be the right approach for it. And we have the highest passing percentage because we create that individual focus. Once you have joined ICOFP, you have to actually work very hard not to get CFP certification. Because if you just follow what is being told here in ICOFP, there is a 90% plus chance that you will pass. So if you join ICOFP, and if you're still not getting a CFP certification, then actually you are working hard not to get a CFP certification. So joining ICOFP is almost like one of the guaranteed ways to get CFP certified. And I'm a live example for that. I was a student of them. I understood the different aspects in terms of what are the levels or what are the means by which they kind of give you or guide you at each level, just not the first level, just not taking the money from you for the program and then you're on your own. No, from the moment you step into ICOFP family, because you actually become part of their family, part of our family, right? And then till the time you finish your CFP certification, you continue to be part of the family. And even after you finish, there is always going to be opportunities which they have, because they are a very large company. We are a very large company. So you become part of the family even from the time you enroll, right? And then all our faculties like us, we're all CFPs, and there is no question of any quality component in terms of the teaching or any aspects. All right, these are the star faculty we have. My face is still not there because I'm still, this is a slide which was prepared a couple of months ago. So at that time, I was more of a guest lecturer. So my face is still not there, but we have some very old veteran faces in this page. And one of us, ma'am, Professor Madhu Sinha, she was at one point of time, she used to be the director of FPSB India, right? So this is a different star faculty which bring about, like, in total, each of us, we have like 20 plus, 15 plus years or 20 plus years of experience, right? So as I said, you have virtual live classes where you can ask doubts to your faculty. He or she is going to deliver classes to you, and it is going to be for 2 hours on weekdays. And you have also the weekend batches for working professionals, and you can be interactive. You can ask your doubts. You also have recording of those classes. And then you also have e-learning sessions where you're not part of the live classes, but you still kind of learn through the different concepts by watching the videos, right? So this is all very, and you have mock tests, you have all kind of technical support in terms of how to access your curriculum and stuff like that. So as I said, concept book, workbook, group projects, free videos, online mock tests, personalized mentors, weekly doubt clearing session, case studies for practice, assignments. As I said, when you join ICOFP, you have to actually work hard not to get the CFP certificate. Because if you just do what is being told to you in terms of doing a mock test or assignments or coming to the weekly doubt clearing sessions or constantly being in touch with your mentors, then I don't see why will you not clear it, because we have the one of the largest passing percentage for CFP across India, right? Okay, this is your fee in terms of the board fee. This is not the fee of us. This is what the FPSB, which is Financial Planning Standards Board, is taking for. One is your FPSB registration, and then which is your FPSB ebook fee, which you have to subscribe to their content. For all the four levels can be paid by one or together. Level 1 to 3 is 6,500 each. CFP final is 13,000. Then you have the exam fee, which is from level 1 to 3 for each of the exam is 6,750 and the final is 13,000. And you also have a fee for submitting the financial planning as financial plan assessment. And you have a specialist certification fee, which after you clear all the three levels, then you have to pay that to get them. And eligibility, as we saw before, is minimum is only 10 and plus 2, 18 plus years of age. And to achieve the CFE charter membership, you need to be a graduate and have that relevant work experience, which also we discussed as per the previous slide. All right. So this is for the fast track. This is for professionals who are already in this industry of banking and financial services. The eligibility is already written here. CA or CA Inter with 3-year articleship, BCom, then CFA, CPA, ACCA, CMA. These are different MBA, PGDM, and Advanced Wealth Management course. And these are the different certifications or educational qualifications that you need to have for this eligibility. And experience is 3 years of prior work experience in BFSI sector like banks, mutual funds, insurance companies, etc. Then you straight away go to this fourth level, which is mentioned here. So this 3 levels is not required. If you qualify for the fast track, you straight away go to this where you have to just submit the project and clear the exam. So that will straight away make you eligible for the certification. That is the fast track. So fast track validation fees, you send them the certificates, you get them validated, for which the fee is 5,000, and registration plus 1 year content of the FPSB. You do it for 34,000, and financial plan assessment, which you are submitting the project, is 10,500. The final exam fee is 13K, and the certification fee, which you, when you get clear the exam, you get certified, that is 10,500, right? So this is the institute fee which we have as an education provider. We, as I said, we are one of the largest, or we are the largest in India, and we are one of the first, the oldest education providers for CFP. So when you choose to do individual levels, that I want to do only level 1 with you guys or level 2 with you guys. So for the instructor-led live classes, it is 20K for each levels. And if you take all the 4 levels, if you enroll with us for all the 4 levels put together, it is 60K. Now, this is apart from the board fee is different. This is our education provider fee. And for the e-learning, if you just want to take 1 level, or 2 level or 3 level, which is, you will not have the live classes, but you will have the recorded classes, which you can see, right? So that if you take as a bundle, then in place of 60K, it is only 45K. So this one, if you take it as a bundle, in place of 80K, it is only 60K. So you also have EMI option where you just pay 10K and then get and this is very seamless. Even, I recollect my experience as a student. Although I did not want any loan or this thing, they still said, sir, we are giving you for free. We just have to take some loan processing fee for 150 rupees or something. It is an interest-free EMI. They had tied up with some financial partners. I said, I don't need. They said, sir, why should you waste? Just take it. You don't have to submit any documents. So I took it. I just paid that initial money, and then it was a hassle-free EMI for 6 months. Although I did not want it, but they still said, "Sir, we are offering this as a service for all our students, so why not avail that service?" So it's very hassle-free. It is very, very competitive on the pricing. There is no hidden cost on that. I can vouch for all of that because I'm actually, I was once availing this as a student or as a customer of ICOFP. So it's pretty hassle-free. Okay. So the offer for today is obviously you get a flat 3,000 discount on course fee across virtual learning, and then you also get e-learning videos of some NISM certifications. You save money on the FPSP course content fee, and then there is a discount coupon which ICOFP issues when you subscribe for the e-content. Again, why I'm saying this is I have availed that as a student. So when I was registering for each level of exam, when I had to subscribe for the content, there is a discount code which ICOFP issues me, and when you enter, you get a very good discount on that, right? So learn the art of there's a quick learning course which you get for free, which is as a part of the offer of today, right? And there is one more attractive feature which is still there, which is very, very interesting, which I think is a great initiative by ICOFP, that candidates who join our regular pathway, we bring an industry first offer wherein your final CFP certification will be fully refunded back to you. This 10,500, which you, after you clear all the levels of exams, which you pay to FPSB board for 10,500 to get your certification. If you are a regular pathway student with us, until the end, if you continue to be with us and clear the exam, this 10,500 we refund back to you as a gesture, as a token of appreciation from our side. And this is first time ever across pan India with any of the education providers for CFP, right? So that, in my opinion, is more of a gesture. It is a social act where we appreciate students for the efforts that has gone into this certification, right? So I think with that, Kanaya, I think I'll close my part of the presentation. If there are questions that we need to take up, we can do that. And thank you once again to all for great listening and the opportunity to be able to talk to you all. I feel very happy. It was always fulfilling to talk to young minds, and young is not by age, but the eager to learn is what I define young, right? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vibhu. So friends, if you have any question, you can always call on this number 9711437779. By the time, Vibhu, I would request you to please go through the chat section. There are a couple of questions I can see which needs to be answered.
All right.
So the one question that I can see in the Q&A session, what is the difficulty level of the curriculum and exams, considering a 12th pass from humanity can also do the CFP?
Of course, you can, as long as you have the interest for finance subject. See, as I told my friends, I am an engineer by profession. I do not have any commerce or accounts background, but I could clear this. Obviously, I had investing experience. I had the basics of the market and stuff like that. But even without that, what is required from you is that attitude or that interest or passion towards personal finance for you to be able to clear it. Then initially, you might find that the topics and the different stuffs that are getting discussed are completely new to you. But as a education provider, ICOFP, we will thrash that out in terms of giving you that individual attention. Even apart from the classes, you can reach out to your faculty, you can reach out to your mentors in terms of understanding. But it all boils down to your interest. As long as you are going to be hardworking, it is not going to be difficult at all, right? Gulab is, I am an independent director and chairman of Audit and Finance Committee of the Shipping Corporation of India. Okay, sir. Okay. Nice to see you, sir. Please explain diversification versus asset allocation with an example. Anish, the differences, as I said, you kind of put in, I don't know if you're still there, Anish, but I'll give you this. I think I already explained, but I'll just explain again. If you choose to put 50% in one asset class, which is equities, and if you're just going to put multiple money into the different mutual funds, within that asset class. If you think that is asset allocation, it is not. It is diversification, and asset allocation is choosing the percentage between the different asset classes. All right. Okay. There are 1300 CFDs like what is okay. No. This is, I don't agree. This, I think this is Rajiv. Rajiv, asset allocation is an ongoing process. As I said, at every stage of financial life, it is what is the profile of the client that you are engaging in? What is the quality of service that you are doing? Yes, obviously, the number of CFPs in India is lesser. As you know, that the regulations for registered investment advisory, RIA from SEBI regulated thing is also getting relaxed, because they want more and more advisors to come into the marketplace, because you see a lot of influencers who are there in social media, who are just guiding people without any proper certifications and stuff. How we retain clients and how we develop that business is purely upon us, but the scope is definitely there. How we go about the task is purely a function of how efficient we are.
Also, the data, Rajveer ji, the data is the active CFP in India is close to 2700.
2000, yeah, it is 2700. Yeah.
Yes. So, friends, by the time we will start taking questions from the chat box, you can also raise your hand, and once he complete all the questions in the chat box, you can. I'll allow you one by one to interact with him. You can ask your question directly from Vibhu sir.
Janaki, I think you have a story which is very similar to mine, although I had work experience, but you say you don't have any work experience. So you want to start a career now in financial planning, that's good. Investing experience for more than 5 years is good. So I also started. You're eligible to get a job. See, it depends on the company, but in terms of what big job you will get, it is a function of your expectations. So obviously, when you are a CFP, if you have that experience of investing on your own, so you bring value to the table. Now you want to get a job at 8 lakh CTC, 20 lakh CTC, 15 lakh CTC. It is always a function of your track record or your experience in a particular industry and your expectations out of it. So it's a very broad question, but yes, obviously this is like a wild card. It will provide you and make you sit in front of someone just because you are a CFP, at least in that field of personal finance. It could be for a job of any size, even despite the fact that you don't have any work experience. If without this CFP, it would not be even possible for you to apply. But with this CFP, you get a kind of a wild card to get back into this employment arena. So that way it will help you. But what job exactly is always a function of your individual expectations, right? Come across a person. No, it is not ethical to use without the CFP thing from the board. You have mentioned the number below. Yes, you can still join FPSP. You will have to take a NOC from the other e-learning provider or the education provider. We can still do that. We can even facilitate that for you as long as you show us the intent to join with us. You have the thing that it is on your initiative that you are doing this. We can help you facilitate in coordinate with the board and get you changed from that education provider to us. Yes, it is pretty much possible. It's not a challenge at all. Fast track course fee and payment structure I had already provided. You can reach out to us for a detailed thing. Banker with 12 years of experience and total. What will be the pathway? It's challenge pathway, sir. So, Hari, I had already answered this question. Only 3 years minimum experience is required. So, if you have that much of experience, you can do that. The fee part is clearly not understood. Please explain again how much fee for learning after the special offer plus exam fee. See, what we have displayed here is for as a part of the presentation. If you want to understand it to a very minute details with the different this thing, please reach out to us with the number provided. That will help you understand it further, because you might have a lot of questions from what we say also. So, it might not be possible in the larger forum to be able to specifically address your queries, but I encourage you to reach out to our experts or the counselors who will be in a better position to address your query very personalized to you. Because we are providing personal finance education, so we also do this servicing at a very personalized level when it comes to individual candidates. Is it necessary to appear for examination after? No, it is not necessary, sir. You have to do it once. After that, it is not necessary to, you have to renew the certificate, but it is not necessary to appear for exam. The fee part is not okay. That one I have already answered. ठीक है Kanaya. So I think we are kind of reasonably covered. Maybe not every question, but on an overall basis. So if there is any further interaction that is required, I'm more than happy to take that as well.
So, Vibhu sir, we can once again explain the fee part.
Okay.
Please go to the slide.
So maybe you can share it from your screen and do that as well, right?
So I'll explain here. I mean, the board fee will be if you're going
Kanaya,
for
you need to share your screen, right? Maybe I will stop my sharing of screen, so maybe you can share your screen.
I'll have to open the PPT. So
okay, I will
share your
open the
screen.
screen, that slide part, then you can explain that slide. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so the board fee for the regular pathway would be close to 1,04,000 rupees, where we will provide you a coupon on every for the content subscription once you apply to subscribe the content from FBSP, because although we provide the content, but this is mandatory by the board that you have to subscribe their own content also. The that fee is 32,500 rupees, where we will provide you a coupon where you will be able to save 50%. That is 16,000 rupees, close to 16,250 rupees. Now, if we add all the fee of board, it will be 1,04,000 rupees. Just exclude that 16,000 rupees. And then the 57,000 rupees, if you are going for a regular pathway, the interactive classes. So this will be your fee. Just let me do this calculation for you. The total fee would be, just a moment. Your board fee would be 88,500 rupees plus the learning fee. I'm talking about the regular pathway, 88,500 rupees for the board fee for a regular pathway, and the 57,000 rupees would be if you are going for a interactive class, or 42,000 rupees would be for if you're going for a e-learning. And now if I talk about the challenge pathway, the fast track pathway, just go to the slide. It would be 5,000 plus 34,000. The board fee would be 73,000 plus the 32,000 for learning, the ISOP fee. One lakh 5,000, the complete investment for challenge pathway, including ISOP fees and board fees. I hope I have explained the fee part.
All right, but they can still, if they want to have a further in-depth understanding of the fee structure, it's always better that they speak to our counselors who are experienced enough to address from a very personalized angle. So
couple of raised hand I can see here. Ankit ji, I'll unmute you. Yes, you can ask your question, Ankit ji.
Hello.
Yeah, Ankit. Hi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
सर मेरा सर क्वेश्चन सर ये है, एक्चुअली सर मैं एमबीए अपना फाइनेंस एंड मार्केटिंग स्ट्रीम्स में 6-7 साल पहले कर चुका हूँ। उसके बाद सर मैंने अपनी एमबीए कंप्लीट करने के बाद मेरे माइंड में कहीं ना कहीं ये प्लान था मैं सीएफए या सीएफपी करूंगा, बट वो मैंने कंटिन्यू नहीं करा। उसको मैं साइड में रख के सर अपनी गवर्नमेंट एग्जामिनेशंस की प्रिपरेशंस में चला गया था, सिविल सर्विसेज की, जिसमें कि सर मैंने कुछ प्रीलिम्स के एग्जामिनेशंस भी क्लियर करे, बट मैं मेंस में नहीं हो पाया। मैं ईगो पे ले गया था, इसके चलते हुए मेरे मतलब 4-5-6 साल सर 5 साल ऐसे निकल गए, मतलब मुझे पता भी नहीं चला। अगर मैं देखता हूँ ना सर पीछे मुड़ के, मुझे पता भी नहीं चला। मेरे जो साथ के थे, मेरे जो फ्रेंड्स थे, कॉलेज मेट्स थे, वो बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं, मतलब कॉर्पोरेट में जिन्होंने मेरे जो पास आउट थे साथ में, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा करा। कोई फाइनेंस फील्ड में अच्छा कर रहा है, कोई मार्केटिंग में अच्छा कर रहा है, बट सर मेरा करियर अभी कहीं कहीं स्टैंड नहीं कर रहा। तो उस वजह से सर मैं कोई जॉब के लिए ऑफर कर रहा हूँ, तो मुझे सर एज अ सिंपल ही जॉब्स ऑफर हो रही हैं, हार्डकोर सेल्स की, फाइनेंशियल इंडस्ट्रीज में, बैंक
हम्म
में, रिटेल बैंकिंग में मुझे एक रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर्स की मिली है सर। अगर मैं स्टॉक्स फर्म में मतलब इक्विटी मार्केटिंग में जा रहा हूँ, वहाँ भी इक्विटी कम डीलर कम रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर की जॉब्स ऑफर हो रही है। मेरे ऑफर लेटर भी जनरेट है सर, मैं एनआईएसएम सर्टिफाइड भी हूँ।
हम्म
फिफ्थ सीरीज कर रखा है मैंने, 8 सीरीज कर रखा है, एंड
हम्म
सर एक दो सर्टिफिकेशंस और कर रखे हैं मैंने सर। बट
हम्म
ये सर मुझे एक अच्छा करियर नहीं मिला, इसी वजह से सर मैं अब दोबारा से ये सोच रहा था, अपने माइंड में कब बना रहा था कि मैं अपना सीएफपी सर्टिफिकेशंस करूं, ताकि एक मेरा जो बैकलॉग है एक ये छूट जाए और एक मुझे अच्छा करियर स्टार्ट हो जाए। तो सर मैं कहीं ना कहीं कंफ्यूजन में हूँ। मैं मतलब काफी टाइम से सोच रहा था, मुझे कोई एक्सपर्ट्स बंदा हो या जिसे इस इंडस्ट्री की अच्छी खासी नॉलेज हो, मुझे थोड़ा गाइड कर दे, तो मैं अपना जल्दी से जल्दी इस फील्ड में उतरूं और कुछ करना स्टार्ट करूं। अच्छा, बस सर मेरा
हम्म।
क्वेश्चन यही है सर।
वेरी गुड अंकित, मतलब वो बहुत अच्छा किया कि मतलब आपने काफी डिटेल में मतलब आपकी स्थिति बताया था। बट मैं आपको सिर्फ एक चीज कहूंगा, और वो भी मतलब एक ही लाइन में मेरी जवाब होगी इसका। अभी हाल फिलहाल आप खुद कह रहे थे कि मतलब आपको जो जिस प्रोफाइल की काम मिल रही है वो केवल ऐसे बहुत ही एंट्री लेवल या लो वाली फील्ड्स, जो रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर, जहाँ पे मतलब आपको एक रेवेन्यू या बुक मतलब अलग अलग क्लाइंट्स को मतलब पकड़ के ले आना या उनसे बिजनेस रेवेन्यू जनरेट करना, उस टाइप की एक रेवेन्यू जनरेशन वाली काम की प्रोफाइल की होगी, और बेसिस व्हाट यू आर गेटिंग नाउ। बट अभी इसमें सीएफपी करने से आप थोड़ा सा ना उससे हट के इन्वेस्टमेंट काउंसलर वाले प्रोफाइल में जा सकते हैं। हो सकता है कि आपको इनिशियली मतलब उतना ज्यादा सैलरी नहीं मिल रही होगी, बिकॉज आप उस बैकग्राउंड से नहीं आ रहे, उसकी रिलेवेंट वर्क एक्सपीरियंस से नहीं आ रहे हैं। अगर आपका सीएफपी की बैच यदि आपने अर्न कर लिया, बिकॉज आपके पास वो एज सर्टिफिकेशन वो सारा सब कुछ है, आप यदि एग्जाम्स क्लियर कर देते हैं तो फिर आपको वो सीएफपी की सर्टिफिकेशन मिल जाएगा। आपका रोल और प्रोफाइल काफी हद तक एक प्रोडक्ट्स की इसमें चले। प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए ही हम असेट एलोकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, उसमें प्रोडक्ट्स के बारे में जानकारी, इंडिविजुअल प्रोडक्ट्स की रिस्क वगैरह के बारे में जानना, वो सब चीजें जो है वो इन्वेस्टमेंट काउंसलर बन जाते हैं। उसमें भी क्लाइंट फेसिंग रोल होगी, मगर फिर भी आपको वो रेवेन्यू का प्रेशर नहीं होगा इतना ज्यादा। थोड़ा सा आप यू विल गो विद जो रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर है, जो हर क्लाइंट का या किसी भी क्लाइंट का जो एचएनआई या यूएचएनआई जो जिसका भी, उनके साथ आप एज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट काउंसलर जाएंगे, ताकि आप प्रोडक्ट्स के बारे में बात करेंगे तो आपका जो प्रोफाइल है वो थोड़ा सा सोफिस्टिकेटेड हो जाएगा इन कंपैरिजन टू व्हाट एवर दैट यू आर गेटिंग नाउ। ये मैं कह सकता हूँ। मगर इसके लिए
यस
कितना कमाएंगे वो दैट इज वो डिपेंड करता है, वो रिलेटिव और कौन सी शहर में है, मतलब उस समय की मार्केट का स्थिति क्या है, वो चीज में है। मगर आपका प्रोफाइल जो मिल सकता है, जो वो इन्वेस्टमेंट काउंसलर की तरफ चले जाएगा, विच इज मोर अबाउट एडवाइजिंग अबाउट द प्रोडक्ट्स टू द क्लाइंट्स। ठीक
ऑन
Uh,
एन एवरेज सर, एज अ फ्रेशर्स को ही मैं काउंट होऊंगा, तो मुझे मतलब क्या ऑफर मिल जाएगा सर, मतलब ऑन
ये
एन
बोलना
एवरेज?
बहुत मुश्किल है यार, मतलब आपको तो मतलब हो सकता है कि 8 से 10 लाख के बीच में भी वो कुछ वो मिल सकता है। बट वो प्रोफाइल में काफी हद तक आपको एक रिलीफ मिलेगा कि मतलब बिकॉज यू विल बी मोर प्रोडक्ट सेंट्रिक।
देखो सर, एक मैं मतलब माइंड ना करना, मैं एक चीज बोलना चाह रहा हूँ, मतलब देखो सेल्स तो हर चीज में है सर, हम सेल्स से नहीं भाग सकते। सेल्स हर चीज का पार्ट है। अगर आप इंजीनियरिंग में जा रहे हैं, वहां भी कहीं ना कहीं सेल्स है, पर एक सेल्स हो जाती है ना सर, आपको भी मतलब एक पता भी नहीं चलता सेल्स हो गई है, मतलब एक हार्डकोर
वही
सेल्स हो
मैं कह रहा हूँ ना
हो गई
अंकित,
सर,
इधर
पार्ट
आप
हो गया।
क्लाइंट के सामने पोजिशनिंग कर रहे हो, सेल्स
यस सर।
नहीं कर रहे हो। आप
यस
क्लाइंट
सर।
के सामने पोजिशनिंग कर रहे हो, क्लाइंट को
यस
समझा रहे हो चीज को, उसमें भी कहीं ना कहीं एक सेल्स की एंगल होती है।
सर।
बट
यस
क्लाइंट
सर।
फेसिंग रोल प्रोडक्ट रिलेटेड जब होती है ना, उसकी सोफिस्टिकेशन अलग होती है। और केवल सर पैसे लगाओ, यार पैसे में लगा दूं, बट किस में लगा लूं, क्यों लगा लूं, कैसे लगा लूं, कौन सी
यस
स्टेज
सर,
में क्या लगा लूं, वो सब चीजों के बारे में बात करने के लिए आपको सीएफपी काफी हद तक आपको हेल्प करेगा। ये मेरा
यस
कहने का मतलब है। वो सेल्स फेसिंग इसलिए मैं कहा था स्पेसिफिकली, क्लाइंट
यस
फेसिंग तब भी होगी मगर आप पिच करोगे, एक टोटल पैकेज पिच करोगे ना, उससे काफी हद तक का फर्क है।
सर।
ठीक है।
थोड़ा सा मैं एम्बिशियस भी हो रहा था, मतलब ये है सर, मतलब मैं लॉन्ग टर्म के बारे में अगर मैं अपना प्लान लेके चलूँ, मैं आपसे शेयर कर रहा हूँ सर। मेरा ये अभी शॉर्ट टर्म एम ये है, 3 से 4 साल किसी अच्छी फर्म में काम करूँ, जो फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग की अच्छी फर्म हो टॉप इंडिया की। उसके बाद मैं खुद का ही सर स्टार्ट करूंगा।
वो ठीक है, मतलब वो तो आप कर सकते हो, इसलिए मैं कहा था जिस दिन आपके पास खुद की 30 क्लाइंट्स है जो आपके लिए वॉच कर सकते हैं, तो आप किसी के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं है, लाइफ सेट है बस। मैंने कहा था ना, एक ही क्लाइंट का 4 स्टेजेस होती है। मैं 30 साल की उम्र में मेरा असेट एलोकेशन डिफरेंट था, 40 में डिफरेंट, 50 में डिफरेंट, 60 में डिफरेंट। ठीक है, सो गुड लक फॉर दैट। तो Kanya, is there anyone else that you want to take it up? But Ankit, you can reach
Yes,
out to our
yes,
counselors also if you want further clarity on this. ठीक है,
ओके, ओके सर, थैंक यू सर,
yeah, but good luck to you, huh?
थैंक यू।
Uh, Vibhu sir, and one more thing I would add here is that we being a part of Bajaj Capital, we have a tie-up with Bajaj Capital where we place the CFP. Those who have completed CFP with us, we place them. Last month we have placed 8 person. 8 लोगों को हमने Bajaj Capital में place किया. They are a fresher
अच्छा,
and
oh,
for the paraplanner role. So that is not for the sales profile, but the more of that is research thing.
got it. But अंकित जो पूछ रहा था वो कुछ और के लिए पूछ रहा था, but I hope कि I have answered Ankit's question.
Yes,
तो
yes. So
उसका
Ankit
प्रोफाइल
was not
काफी हद तक improve हो जाएगा। ठीक है।
right.
Anyone else that you want to take up, Kanya?
Yes, yes. Yes, Rajbir ji, you can unmute yourself. You can ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Rajveer Singh.
Currently, I have cleared the MFD NISM exam and also appearing for the IRA NA exam next month. So I have a little query, or I am maybe confused about choosing between the RIA or the CFP. CFP is a larger or professional degree where we are supposed to deal with the clients, or we will advise them on the asset allocation, whatever the whole modules. And my background is BCom. So I also, first question is like, if I join this program, completing the program is a different thing, and getting the certification to become operational is a different thing. And secondly, since if somebody comes to me for the CFP planning, I would be charging them a fee for 1 year. So I probably think those people who have an larger asset allocation of say 5, 10 CR or 20 CR, those are the people they would be willing to pay if they are interested. On the second hand, because I am into brokership also some company, what I have seen, because due to the exuberant or prices of the stock markets, everybody is like looking for some investment advisor, because even a 1 lakh person with 1 lakh holding 10 lakh, 1 CR, because being a broker, I have come across people who have 10 CR in the equities also, but they are not able to get proper advice. So the clientage is, I feel, very big in the RIA, because nobody is there to tell the script. Even those people who are associated with the RIAs or some technical students, they are making good money irrespective of the notifications of the SEBI. So that's why I'm little confused. Now, how do I go with this?
Okay. Thank you, Rajiv ji. I think it was a detailed question, but I still could get the crux of that question. यदि आपको हिंदी में चाहिए, मैं हिंदी में भी जवाब दे सकता हूँ. English is also fine.
In English, both ओके
हाँ ठीक है, तो सी primarily I will tell you, being an MFD, you are already aware of the different products which each of the AMCs bring to the table. तो आपको उसके बारे में you have a knowledge in terms of एक ही कस्टमर को कितने टाइप का अलग अलग टाइप के प्रोडक्ट्स हम पिच कर सकते हैं, राइट? बिकॉज वो बैलेंस्ड एडवांटेज फंड में ही इतनी कैटेगरी हो गया, अग्रेसिव, कंजर्वेटिव, एंड फिर मतलब मल्टी एसेट फंड, ये वो तामझाम, सो डायनेमिक एसेट एलोकेशन, देयर आर सो मेनी फंड्स व्हिच आर देयर. तो being a CFP, or if you study CFP, obviously you will get a better hang of like how to position the products to whom. But obviously you can, for a same client, you cannot do both the services of advisory and also selling. So you need to have two different licenses in terms of what you are. If you are advising to a client, you can only advise. If you are selling products to a client, you can only sell. I think it's the same when it comes to RIA. Now the difference, obviously the conditions for being an RIA, they are trying to relax it from like October or November of this year, but still it is slightly difficult. But I would say from CFP, even if you're not charging or you're not advising some clients, or even if you're segregating them separately, it will have a great influence on you as a person being an MFD, even for selling the products to your clients, if not from an advisory angle also, even from a डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंगल, बिकॉज उसमें आपको काफी हद तक वो स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन क्या है, वेरिएंस क्या है, हिस्टोरिकल परफॉर्मेंस को कैसे देखने होते हैं, सामने वाले को कौन सी प्रोडक्ट में पिच करूं, वो जिस स्टेज में है उसको मैं मल्टी एसेट फिक्स करूं जिसमें गोल्ड का भी एक पार्ट है, या गोल्ड की ETF को मैं लगा लूं, या REITs, आज की डेट में इतनी REITs भी आ गई है, नेक्सस, ब्लैकस्टोन, एम्बेसी, IT पार्क, स्टफ्स लाइक दैट, वो इतनी सारी चीजों को मैं कहां, बिकॉज लोग के पास पैसे हैं, उसको रख के क्या करना है पता नहीं. अब किसी के पास पैर में 10 लाख रुपए पड़ा है, उस 10 लाख से तो वो मकान नहीं खरीद सकता रियल एस्टेट का, बट किसी कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी विच इज इन बांद्रा कुर्ला कॉम्प्लेक्स इन मुंबई, विच हैज अ रेंटल ऑफ 50 lakhs पर मंथ, उस 10 लाख को उस ट्रस्ट में वो इन्वेस्ट करता है, ताकि वो इन एन इनडायरेक्ट मैनर वो एक छोटी सी परसेंटेज उसमें ओनरशिप ले सकता है. तो ऐसे जो चीजें हैं, आपको इवन एज अ पर्सन हु इज सेलिंग द प्रोडक्ट भी आपको ये काम आएगा, even as a person who is doing an advisory service to some client also. इस CFP का ना बहुत कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव है, वो इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लानिंग से लेकर के एसेट एलोकेशन, रिस्क प्लानिंग, इंश्योरेंस की नीड्स के बारे में भी, बिकॉज आप तो IRDA का भी आप कुछ करने जा रहे थे, तो दैट वे it will give you a very comprehensive holistic approach to your entire profession. And as a, मतलब मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ, मेरे साथ ओडिशा से जो बंदा आया था, रूरल ओडिशा का था, वो CFP कर रहा था, he was a MFD and he continues to be an MFD. वो मुझको कह रहा था, बिकॉज उनकी रूरल ओडिशा में कोई CFP के बारे में वो जानता तक नहीं है, बट वो कह रहा था सर इसके CFP करने पहले ना कोई मेरे को 5 लाख से ऊपर का पैसा लेके आएगा, मेरे को तो थोड़ा सा उसको एडवाइस करने में तो मेरे को डर आ जाता है. मगर आज की डेट में कोई मेरे पास 50 लाख में ले आएगा ना, मेरे पास एक आइडिया है, एक पिक्चर है, जिसको लेकर के मैं बता सकता हूँ सामने वाले की, सर आप इस में लगा दीजिए, उनसे एक सही क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकता हूँ ताकि मैं उनको एक सही प्लानिंग बता सकूं, सही एडवाइस बता सकूं. बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं मतलब जिंदगी में आप देखो ना, दुनिया में जो काउंसलर्स होते हैं, जो लॉयर्स होते हैं, वो क्लाइंट से क्या पूछते हैं सर, वो हम ही से सवाल पूछते हैं, हमारे सवाल से ही हमें सॉल्यूशन देते हैं, जिस बात पे हमें उनको पैसे भी दे आते हैं. तो ये प्रोफेशन भी तो ऐसे ही तो है. इट इज जस्ट अबाउट वी आर इक्विपिंग आवरसेल्फ टू आस्क द राइट क्वेश्चंस सो दैट वी अंडरस्टैंड. इसलिए वो यूनिक है, पर्सनल फाइनेंस का नाम में ही पर्सनल है ना सर, तो वो हर बंदे का यूनिक है. सो वी अंडरस्टैंड और वी डेवलप द एबिलिटी टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस by which you can develop or expand your revenue both on the selling side of the products and also on the advisory. Obviously you might have to do that under two different licenses because वो selling और इसको वो एक ही इसमें आप कर नहीं सकते हो एक क्लाइंट. I hope you are aware of it.
और इसमें जैसे आई विल सपोज कंप्लीट दिस CFP प्रोग्राम, तो इसमें जो 5 साल का वो वर्क एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए, वेदर इन दी बैंकिंग, म्यूचुअल फंड इंडस्ट्री,
3 साल का सर.
वो तो खैर मेरे पास नहीं है, बिकॉज आई एम इनटू स्टील बिजनेस, तो बस मेरे पास तो BCom ही डिग्री है, तो फिर मेरे को 3 साल नौकरी करना पड़ेगा कहीं पे.
नहीं, आपका MFD लाइसेंस कितना पुराना है?
वो तो इसी साल लिया जून में.
नहीं, वो MFD लाइसेंस से भी मतलब आप उसका वो मतलब आपका वो, यदि आपने ऑलरेडी ARN कोड जनरेट करके ले रखा है, आप उसी से जब भी आप काम करते रहिए, मतलब उसको भी एक्सपीरियंस माना जाएगा.
नहीं, बट वो तो जून से है ना, जून 2024।
सर वो मतलब कहीं भी तो जाकर के वो 3 साल कंप्लीट होगा, ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब आज भी आपके पास नहीं है, बिकॉज आपके वो एक्सपीरियंस, वर्क एक्सपीरियंस यदि एक्चुअल फील्ड में नहीं है कहीं, तो मतलब यू हैव टू फुलफिल सम कंडीशंस, राइट?
फिर मतलब 3 साल या मेरे को 1 साल किसी के अंडर
हाँ
अप्रेंटिसशिप करके फिर मेरे को सर्टिफिकेट मिल सकता है।
हाँ, वो तो आप मतलब कभी भी आप वो चीज कर सकते हैं। जो भी
ओके
प्रैक्टिसिंग वो आपके इलाका में है, वो सीएफपी की डायरेक्टरी में ही मिल जाएगा, आप उनके साथ जुड़ के वो कर सकते हैं, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
ओके ओके।
ओके।
एंड ये इंटरनेशनल रिकॉग्नाइज्ड भी है ना, सपोज?
27 कंट्रीज सर, 27 different countries it is recognized. This origin of the CFP certification is from US. Obviously USA जब भी कुछ करता है ना, वो तो बड़ा करता है ना, तो इसलिए 27 different countries में ये recognized।
और जो हम फास्ट ट्रैक या हम आई
आप
थिंक,
आपको शायद फास्ट ट्रैक का वो नहीं हो पाएगा, बिकॉज आपका वो रेलेवेंट वर्क एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है ना, तो आप
हाँ
रेगुलर
हाँ
पाथवे
बिल्कुल,
में जाएंगे।
रेगुलर में ऑनलाइन क्लास वाला ही लगेगा, या इसमें लाइक जो फिजिकल क्लासेस तो नहीं लगेंगे वीकेंड पे?
सर वो कन्हैया बता सकता है कि ये रेगुलर में वीकेंड है क्या कन्हैया?
वीकडेज और वीकेंड दोनों बैच चलते हैं हमारे। मंडे टू फ्राइडे है, लेट इवनिंग
अच्छा
7:30 to 9:30, जिसमें आपकी 5 दिन क्लासेस होती है। और वीकेंड का चलता है जिसमें 2 hours ऑन सैटरडे, 2 hours ऑन संडे। तो आप बेस्ड
नहीं,
ऑन योर चॉइस आप अपना बैच सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं।
या वो फिजिकल क्लासरूम में जाना पड़ेगा या
नहीं
ऑनलाइन?
नहीं, जूम
ऑनलाइन
जूम सर,
ऑनलाइन।
जूम जूम।
अच्छा, जूम वाला, ओके ओके।
थैंक यू राजवीर जी, आई होप
थैंक
वी
यू,
कुड आंसर योर क्वेश्चन।
थैंक यू।
हाँ।
एम
यस।
था।
Yeah, hi, Venkatji, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
थैंक यू सर।
I can relate to your situation because I am also an engineer and I have now retired from the corporate world, but I
ओके
am very crazy about personal finance.
ओके।
Like you, I have spent 30 years in Dubai. I worked with
ओके
all big corporates there.
ओके।
So my few questions are like I spoke to FPSB board and I told about that I worked in a management category with a lot of multinational companies from US and Dutch and all these people. So they say, and also I have a post graduation certificate. So they said I qualify for this fast track.
ओके।
Okay. Having said that, like I am confused because I have not worked in any banking sector and all, but since they said you have handled corporate finance, you worked in corporate for 30 years, you can go for fast track. So I just wanted to clarify on this thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the question, and it is very happy. I think it would be a pleasure of ICOFP to have someone as you as a part of our, candidature profile, right? So, see, there are two things to go about this, sir. See, one is like you are eligible for fast track, but as you rightly say, you do not have that BFSA experience, so it will be slightly taxing on you. But given that fact that you are already investing, you have ideas about inflation, you have ideas about compounding and stuff like that, I don't think it is going to be a great challenge. So if you have time by your side and if it is about passion, you want to have more and more experience actually touching base each one of the subject aspects that we are talking about in level 1, 2, 3, you can go for the regular pathway, which in first level you will have investment planning. Then in the second module of the first level, you have personal finance management, which talks about time value of money. Investment planning and asset management talks about the different asset classes, different investment risks, the portfolio theories, which I touched base upon today. It also talks about a bit of regulatory. The second level talks about taxes, okay, which is the income taxes and the taxes here in India. It also talks about your retirement planning. In third level, it talks about your risk, which is about insurance need-based analysis and insurance analysis. And the third level, the other component is estate planning, which is about the transfer of wealth to the next generation. So this is comprehensive. So if you are passionate, if you have the time by your side in terms of going through the motions, I would recommend you to take up the regular pathway, which is what I did. Although in my case, I did not even check for fast tracks qualification because it just didn't occur to me. Any which ways, I was not a postgraduate. I just did my engineering and I didn't do any further. So I had work experience for 16 long years. I was COO and all, but I did not check for fast track. But if you want to get a complete overhaul, holistic approach of experience, you could opt for regular pathway. And if you are going for challenge pathway, it's just that you need to put in those bit of extra hours or efforts to be able to cope up to that. So I would personally, if you ask me, my inclination is for you to go to the regular, and the final decision is always yours. But my inclination, if you ask me personally, that I would kind of say that please take the regular pathway so that you get a complete transformative experience in terms of what you have been doing from a practical life scenario to an academic perspective also.
So, see, I am not only that, even I have put up a business as a financial coach, and already I am handling some accounts of some high net worth individuals. I have also passed this heavy mutual fund distribution exam.
Sure.
So, just adding on to your year, so I understand by this discussion with FPSB is that in this fast track also, we actually have to go through all the study materials which is there for all of them. It's just that we won't be giving so many exams. We will be giving one final exam. But my understanding is that as a study thing, you have to study everything as such.
Yes. So
and since I have the time, because I am now retired from my corporate life and this is my full-time activity, and I think they are giving 1 year time to do that thing. So I thought that maybe I can go to that.
Most definitely, sir. If you have the time and willing to go through that extent in terms of getting acquainted, as I said, level 4 does not have any new curriculum. Level 4 is just the revision of the previous 3 curriculums. So they just kind of step it up to slightly higher level and make you give the exam plus the project.
Right.
So you can straight away opt for, in fact, I am spearheading the fast track batches, because I understand what is the challenge and what is the kind of journey mapping that we have to do for those students who are not taking the individual levels, but straight away going to the last exam. So we are developing a model in terms of how should be the life journey of a student in fast track B. So we are facilitating, we are working on a lot of processes as we speak in terms of facilitating those students to be able to complete the certification as well. So obviously you can take up fast track, sir. And again, we are a specialist in terms of enabling fast track students to clear as well.
So one more question, now, like you passed in 7 months, which is great, right?
Yes.
So suppose
I did all the 4 levels, sir.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. So what I'm saying is that suppose we join this Bajaj classroom training basically, and so this training also will have some time bound training, right? So, but suppose if I am not able to pass within that particular time frame, so suppose I am going regular pathway and you are finishing this curriculum in 2 months, 3 months, I don't know. So, but I am not able to ready for the exams after 3 months, or I don't pass the exam. So what do? Again, I sit for the next classes?
Sir, there are multiple options. You will be given recordings of your own classes which you took live. So one, you can go back to those videos and access them. Or if you feel that you want to have for specific topics, you wanted to kind of have again live class experience, you can reach out to our academics team and request that in the further batches you can attend, maybe not the entire module, but 1 or 2 classes just for some more clarity on those specific aspects. You can do that as well. So that is not a challenge, but you will have your own videos. When I say own videos, you will have videos of the classes when you are when you are subscribing for the live classes, virtual learning method, not the e-learning. The classes that you attend, you will always have the video recordings of those classes that will be posted in their
LMS.
Yes, LMS. Yes. So that experience is fantastic when it comes to ICOP. And I'm saying that not from being part of the ICOP academic team or operational team. I'm making this statement as being a student of them.
No, but from your institute point of view, like you must have passed so fast, like 7 months, but not that every month,
Sir, that is what I'm
have.
saying. No, even if you're not being able to clear, you can always refer back to the videos. You can always speak out or reach out to the faculty, or you can even request our academics team that for specific topics, whenever they come in the upcoming later batches, you can become a part of them also for few classes, if not all, for the more clarity on the topics. But any which ways, you will have access to your videos which you attended, which if you see and if you have questions, you can always reach out to the faculty. So that is not, and you will be given concept book. There will be an FPSB content. You will have videos. You can reach out to faculty. You can speak to people like us who's into mentoring. So you have multiple options, even if you're not able to cope up to the speed at which. And I am an exception, sir. Not everyone could clear at 7 months. So there are a lot of students who are at a much slower pace, and ICOFP does accommodate students of multiple pace and this thing, because being an education provider, we just don't cater to students who can pass all 4 levels in 7 months. We have students who are much longer in their life journey, but we cater to them, to their individual needs, all through their journey of completing the certification.
But just as a curriculum, how fast it goes, like what is the there?
It is not so fast, sir. It considers that it is a very diverse population or a diverse audience that we are addressing to. So we try to go through the basics in a relatively stable manner so that no one finds it too overwhelming or fast. So you don't have to worry about it.
And there are classes every day, or it's in the weekends?
As Kanaya said, you have weekend classes option, you have weekday classes option.
Classes.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank
So,
you. I hope we could
Vibhu
answer
sir,
your question.
Vibhu sir, we have paucity of time. We can take another 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 questions and then like we call it a day. Yeah.
Yes. Manishji, you can ask your question.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Vibhu. So
Yeah.
I attended your session. It was very, very well, laid out. So my question is, I'm a working professional and I'm a banker for last 20 years. So I am basically eligible for the fast track and have certain other qualifications related to that.
Sure, sir.
Now, my question is that, after doing this CFP program from, from ICOF, so what are the, supports available or provided by either by ICOF or by FPSB, for a person who wants to set up his own business of financial advisory? Now, when I say that, what I mean to say is that when you run a financial advisory firm and you are going to be advising clients once you've identified them, so there need to be certain software applications, tools, which you really require, basis which you can scientifically examine, the requirements of the customer and then properly advise. So which will mean that you need to have these softwares and tools, for running your business. So I just wanted to understand, is there any support mechanism which is provided by ICOF or by FPSP for people who want to set it up as a profession going forward?
Okay, so as I said, obviously, ICOF, we are the EPs, the education providers, and FPSP is the board. See, the thing that you're asking, sir, is a very personalized, unique thing from one business to another. Now, for instance, there could be people, I have seen a lot of advisors who are specializing on retirement planning, for example. There are advisors who are specializing into goal-based planning. There are professionals who are into, so it's a multi-stream thing. And wealth, as I said, personal finance is very unique. So, developing a wholesome universal IT architecture for this is very challenging without that level of scale, which is at a very large level of scale. At an individual level, developing that architecture is difficult. Is also a lot of, it takes a lot of money without the scale. So as of now, I don't think we have, as an education provider, any digital architecture assistance. Neither does the board has. Now, you can obviously reach out to us in terms of like as a mentoring thing, even after your certification, in terms of, how do you strategize or position. So the soft aspects of it, obviously, we are always a call away in terms of assisting you. But from an architecture point of view, I don't think there is anyone who could provide a universal architecture for someone, who is, because each of us specialize into different things, right? Like someone would be specializing into PMS based products, which is portfolio management services only. Someone would be based into very, very family offices related things. Someone could be for retirement, someone could be for something. So it's kind of difficult without having that scale. So I don't think ICOFP as an organization provides any digital infrastructure assistance in terms of the architectures.
So while you address the universal, side of it, now in case somebody is, specializing on retirement planning, just like you said. So do you have these piecemeal, kind of applications or softwares,
Sir,
or
as
is it available in the market for a
Mm,
professional to set up?
I will not have an exact insight to it, so it wouldn't be right on my part to comment about that. But as a see, our core business is being an EP, which is education provider for CFP, right? So I don't think our focus is into development of. There are apps who lot of MFDs also have like that. They give you the app, so they make the whole investing experience hassle free, so that you just need to input their ARN code, choose the scheme, and invest even without talking to them. They still get recognized because of their ARN code. Being a banker yourself, you know the difference between the regular and direct schemes. So there are a lot of apps which have come for an entry level solution, which even it has gone very broad based. Individual MFDs, even in small P30 cities, which is the beyond 30 cities, have developed. But I'm not sure about the apps which is about advising clients. Are they available in the market? I don't think I'm in a position to, because I shouldn't tell you something wrong. So I would
Okay.
say that
Okay,
I will have to.
got it. Now the last point,
Yeah.
pertaining to this only. If not apps, if not softwares, do we provide the students, certain templates on the, because advisory is all about asking right questions. If you really want to advise
Yes.
people right? So templates for, for the various, programs like the retirement planning program or the portfolio management.
So you
Do
do
you provide those
CFP,
templates?
you get it on your own. Yes,
Okay.
obviously we can still set you up in terms of guiding you. As I said to someone before, being a counselor or being an advisor is about asking the right questions. So you got that right. We'll have to ask the right questions to the client to make the revenue from the client only. So you will conceive something. Obviously, we can kind of even from like you can even reach out to me individually saying that okay, I have this being conceived, what do you think about this? Like, so I can give you some kind of a directional sense to that, a strategic sense to that. Someone else can give. So, it could be an ongoing thing, like, a few calls, a week or something like that, once in a month or something like that as a regular thing. Being an alumni or alumnus of ICOFP, you always have that, as I said, you become part of the family. So it's not that I don't think ICOFP kind of has that high-handed attitude ki yaar ek baar tumne kar liya, then like so they've been always like kind of carrying along. You see, like I was their student, they could see the value in me, so they made me a guest lecturer, they made me a mentor, they made me speak in the live webinars. So it's a very family culture. So as long as they see the whole thing, like it's going to be a very participative journey, right?
Perfect. And one last point, as an alumni of CFP, as you rightly said, we are a close-knit family, and we will continue to be part of that family. So obviously, because these advisory, happens basis what is the regulations, currently in the country, and regulations keep on changing. So how are the alumni, updated on the, developments on these
See, there is
regulations?
a weekly or a monthly newsletter. I think frequency of the newsletter, I'm not so sure, but I think, sir, to some level, if it is our core business, I think we'll have to kind of be updated ourselves. You can always reach out in terms of.
Which we will do, which obviously we will do. I
So
was looking at from the support line. Yeah.
so to answer your question very precisely, because it's about compliance, there is no specific communication format where there is an email going out whenever there is a change. No, there is nothing like that. Obviously, if you are being updated on your own, if you want a clarification in terms of how or what, if that be explained in a much more detailed manner or stuff like that, being a part of the family, like obviously that thing can be done, but not in an automated manner, that as and when there is a change, that because that's kind of slightly impractical to do as well, right? So obviously, when you as the professional who is leading the business, who is kind of in the know and thick of things, you can always reach out here. I'm not able to understand this PMS slide. They say that from 50 lakhs now the requirement is 10 lakhs, and there are some derivative options into this. What do I tell the clients? How do I pitch this? What is this exact rule about? This is an example question. No, someone like me will be happy to answer. So it's an ongoing thing, as you rightly said. So reaching out that kind of an assistance with the faculty or the academics team, I don't see a challenge in that. But on an automated trigger mode, because the scope is too wide, what to send, what to miss. Because once you begin to send, then you have to send everything, or you don't send. So it's 1 or 0. So it's like that,
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vibhu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's see, although I'm getting text to wind up, but we will take just one question, last question.
Okay, Kanaya, as you say.
Then we will wind up. Hi,
Sir,
yeah, please go ahead.
sir, good afternoon, Vibhu sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, it was a very nice class. I have two questions, sir, and it is related to my personal. Sir, I'm a basically retired banker. I have 25 years in the banking industry. And the thing is, I'm not a postgraduate. I did only graduation. And apart from that, I have done all these NISM courses that AMFI, IRDA, and Certified Financial Goal Planner from NISM.
Okay.
Sir, so am I eligible for fast track?
Fast track eligibility, sir, I think they require a post graduation, right, Kanaya? Because
Yes.
you can check that out, but I think to what I recollect, and even from this, so you have to be a CA or CA inter with 3-year articleship plus BCom, or a CFA, CPA, ACCA, CMA, MBA, PGDM, all streams, CAIIB, BCom Advanced Wealth Management course from. See, what I can suggest is you can still reach out to our academics team and give, since you have bring a lot of experience. Even Mr. K.N. Carr was saying that even though he did not work in BFSI so in your case, you have worked in BFSI, but you don't have a post graduation. In his case, he had post graduation, but he didn't work in BFSI.
Yes.
But they still said like he can still take up the fast track or the challenge pathway. So please do reach out to FPSB and we can help you do that. If you can reach out to any of us in the academics team, they can help you coordinate with FPSB and understand whether you will be eligible. To my general sense, I think you are eligible, but we can still get it confirmed.
Sir, thank you, sir. And the second question, sir, what is your advice? Shall I process like normal course or fast track? Because I have done 25, I had 25 years experience, and I was a wealth manager and relationship manager in several banks. Sir.
No problem. So I think you can afford to do challenge pathway, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Provided you just please get in touch with our team, we will be more than happy to help you coordinate with FPSB to kind of get you the clarity in terms of your eligibility. And as long as you are getting eligible for the fast track, please take a fast track.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Kanya, so.
Yes, sir. So, friends, due to the paucity of time, we could not be able to take all the questions. But anyway, you can call us on the number 9711
I'm just putting that again, Kanya. Just a moment. I'm just putting that number up again so that people can take a screenshot or a photo of this. So it is 9711437779. Please call us on this number. We'll be happy to help, and we understand how to cater to your individual needs from a very personalized angle. So please do call us on this number for further details. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vibhu sir. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, Kanaya. It was a great session, and I hope it was useful for everyone who was participating in this. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Signing off.